right, so Skull and Bones looks like it's doing worse than Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Okay. Now, I would have liked to see a little bit more positive spin on this for Suicide Squad. Okay. As Vandal said yesterday, I have a hate boner for suicides or people that hate on Suicide Squad. But what about they said Suicide Squad's actually doing better than Skull and Bones? That would have been a positive for Suicide Squad for just the small minute that it is. Instead of Skull and Bones looks like it's doing worse than Suicide Squad because Suicide Squad is bad, but Skull and Bones is worse, right? That's what it... Okay. So it says this year, there are 2 major AAA games that are being used as examples to talk about overinvestment in live service, resulting in large-scale bombs. Okay, Ubisoft Skull and Bones and WB Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but now one appears to be performing worse than the other, according to the data that we have available. It appears that even that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League launched poorly, Skull and Bones might be doing even worse. Hey, there's a positive spin for Suicide Squad. Okay. While Skull and Bones is briefly inside PlayStation's top 10 most played games at launch, it quickly fell. That much worse than Suicide Squad, which is at least debuted at number 1 on PlayStation when it released and slowly sunk down the list rather immediately falling off. Now, additionally, February sales data shows that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is that 3rd highest selling game of the month, behind only Helldivers 2 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Skull and Bones, meanwhile, is behind even Grand Theft Auto debuting on the list at number 8. It's not doing much better than the EU at number 7. Okay. So, take it in. Okay. Now, on Xbox, Skull and Bones is 47th most played game right now, just a couple weeks after the debut so-called quadruple A game. One piece of data that we do not have is PC numbers, as Suicide Squad has done abysmal there, currently peaking at under 500 concurrent players some days, and Skull and Bones PC data is only known for Ubisoft. But given the rest of it, is it hard to imagine it's doing well. What happened? I mean, it says, well, I mean, it's obvious that, like Suicide Squad, Skull and Bones launched as a live service game that demanded $70 up front, a cost that Ubisoft said justified by the amount of content in it. But most players disagree. It also appears to be a game simply no one asked for. When we talk about what we've asked for, like right now, what are you guys asking for? I know what I ask for in games. I know what I asked for. I'm not asking for said company to give me said game. I'm asking said company to give me complete, finished, non-broken, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want a working game. Make a game, sell a game. I've never asked for, this is not the game I'm asked for. That just sounds so ridiculous, right? I'm just asking for a game to work, right? Can you imagine CD Projekt Red, like you loved Witcher 3 so bad, okay? You just loved it, but they came out with Cyberpunk 2077. You're like, this is not the game I asked for. This is not the game I wanted. I wanted Witcher 4. It's like, is when you like a company, right? You just like the games they created because they make a game. They decide to make a separate, different game. Okay? A brand new IP they came out with. They made Cyberpunk 2077. Now, you can say what you want about Cyberpunk 2077 being broke, buggy, unfinished, but they still made something different than what they were known for ahead of time. Witcher 2, Witcher 3, okay? Now you go to the other side for Rocksteady. Now you go to the other side for Ubisoft. Ubisoft makes a ton of games, right? They make a ton of games, okay? But Rocksteady didn't make the Batman game, right? Didn't make the Batman game. And then you have Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft, right? Well, they didn't make the next Black Flag game that we asked for. Who gives a shit what you're asking for, right? They're making a game that they wanted to make. Now, the difference is they made games that weren't complete games. Skull and Bones is not a complete game. I gave you my 4.5 hour thoughts on the game. I said that game needs another 12 to 18 months to be finished. Okay, I said save your money. It's a fun game, but you need to wait for it to be complete. I said this was Battlefield 2042. I said this was Cyberpunk 2077. Okay? And these are all proven facts now. Battlefield 2042 is a much better game 22 months later. Okay? Cyberpunk 2077 is a much better game 3 years later. Okay? Skull and Bones will be a much better game 2 years later, if it makes it that long. Okay? Same with Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad's been out for a month and a half. Okay? it'll be a better game down the road once they have all the content that they have in the game. Okay, so without question, the biggest thing that sinking Skull and Bones is the most played simply did not want live service pirate game, where you play as a ship rather than a pirate, which is baffling given that AC Black Flag inspired the game in the first place and feels like Sea of Thieves, now 6 years old, does everything better than Skull and Bones minus its graphics. Well, that statement right there, Sea of Thieves, when it came out, wasn't a complete game. It's a much better game 6 years now. So comparing a 6-year-old pirate game to a pirate game that just came out is completely different. Okay? Minus the graphics. No, minus that when Sea of Thieves came out, and I play tested it for 2 years before it came out. So technically it's been out for 8 years. Okay? Been around for 8 years. 2 years behind the scenes, 6 years in front. Okay? And it's a much better game now 6 years later. Because that's what live service games are. Fallout 76 is a much better game 5 years later. Okay? So, at launch, it proven those suspicions correct. And it didn't get any help with the critics either, scoring a 60 on the Metacritic, and the exact same thing for Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad also had a much better user score. This isn't to say that Suicide Squad isn't doing well. It definitely is not, ahead of its first delayed Joker season. Wait, delayed? How is the Joker season delayed? They said it was coming out in March. It's coming out in March. How is it delayed? Coming at the end of this month. But it's doing a lot better than Skull and Bones. Well, it sure seems like it. What? You see what I'm saying? Delayed. They said first month, coming out in March. When you say next month, everyone thinks the first of the month. They have all month to get it out, which they are. But hey. So, the problems with Skull and Bones, right? The problem with these live service AAA games is not that the live service aspect of these games is bad. The problem with Skull and Bones is at the core level. The core level of Skull and Bones has been, it was rebooted 4 times. It was delayed 7 times. Okay? They went through 3 directors for the game. There's much more problems here than the game being good or bad. Now, people could like games. I like bad games all the time. I played Marvel's Avengers. I know it's a bad game, but I also think it's a good game. Okay? It's not the best game in the world, but I enjoyed it while I played it. Suicide Squads is not a great game, but I'm having fun playing it, but I know it's not a great game. Okay? People that are delusional when they play a game and they're like, no, it's the best game, and they don't see the flaws, that's copium. Okay? I see the flaws in the games I play, and I like those games, okay? But the fundamental aspects of the game, Skull and Bones is missing core features of what that game is. Suicide Squad is not missing core features. It's missing problems with the live service aspect as far as the connectivity issues of with Suicide Squad. And then once we get to the Battle Pass, once we get to the first season and see what they're actually putting out, then we can say, well, fundamentally, the core system of this live service aspect of the game is not working well. But the game itself is not a broke, buggy game. Suicide Squad is not a Battlefield 2042. It's not a Cyberpunk 2077. Okay? It's not a Fallout 76. Okay? It's not a Skull and Bones. But yet it's tossed there because it's a live service game, it's a DC game, it's a game that nobody asked for. Skull and Bones is getting shit on not because of the core mechanics of the game, it's getting shit on because it's not Black Flag. And this is just silly, okay? Because, again, Cyberpunk didn't get, well, this is not the Witcher game we asked for. Insert sequel or new IP here, okay? Starfield, this is not the Skyrim game we asked for, right? And it's just insane to me, okay? There's a difference between a bad game and a bad live service game. There's a difference between these things. And at the core, Anthem was a bad live service game because it didn't even finish the game. The game was broke, buggy, unfinished. They didn't even have all the materials, all the end game activities in the game when the game came out. They didn't even have a whole set of gear for all the characters that they put in the game when the game came out, right? These are fundamental problems from the ground up, right? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think of Skull and Bones? Are you enjoying Skull and Bones? Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you enjoying Suicide Squad? Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you excited for Suicide Squad and Skull and Bones to have content? They both announced a year content coming down of the roadmap. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what we do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.